Hey, greetings, everyone. This is Lieutenant Colonel retired Alan West, Senior Fellow at the Media Research Center. Memorial Day is over, and hopefully you all had a great opportunity to honor and remember our fallen brothers and sisters who make it possible for us to live in this great land of liberty and freedom. But now most people tend to believe that it's summertime. And of course, here in Texas, the heat definitely tells us that it is very much so summertime, already hitting 100-degree temperatures. But the thing that we want to discuss today is, what can you do with your student over this summertime period before they return back to one of those liberal progressive college and university campuses? And I think one of the great things we should do is have a little class, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles. Well, that is if you're not a progressive socialist yourself. But we should have a class called the Absurdity of Socialism 101, because we've got a short window of time before these kids go back to these college campuses. And well, those professors get a hold of them all over again. So we need to be able to sit down with them and have a little instruction time, have a little one-on-one time. And first and foremost, if your kid or your grandchild says that they need to go to a safe space, that they don't want to hear it, well, it's your house and your rules. Or if you are the employer and some of these college students are coming for an internship, this is a great time to teach them about the free market system. Now, I want to recommend some books that you can share with these young people about the free market and some of the things that has happened. First and foremost, I think this little abridged version of The Road to Serfdom by Frederic Bastiat is a great one to go through with the young people. And let me read you a quote from here. Nobody saw more clearly than the great political thinker de Tocqueville that democracy stands in irreconcilable conflict with socialism. Democracy extends the sphere of individual freedom, he said. Democracy attaches all possible value to each man. He said that in 1848, while socialism makes each man a mere agent, a mere number. Democracy and socialism have nothing in common but one word: equality. But notice the difference. While democracy seeks equality in liberty, socialism seeks equality in restraint and servitude. One of the things that I like to share with people is that a free people are not equal and unequal people are not free. And when you think about that word equality, it's very interesting because we constitutional conservatives, people that believe in the free market, we see equality of opportunity. While people that are liberal progressives or progressive socialists, the root of socialism is that they see equality of outcomes. And one of the things we must understand that the root evil of socialism is that, well, basically, they just take your stuff and they give it to other people. And here's a second great book that you should share with your students over the summer period when you give them that Absurdity of Socialism 101. It's called The Law by Frederic Bastiat. Great book. And let me share a quote from this book by Frederic Bastiat. And it says, socialism, like the old policy from which it emanates, confounds government and society. And so every time we object to a thing being done by government, it concludes that we object to it being done at all. We disapprove of education by the state, which is one of the tenets of Karl Marx. Then we are against education altogether. Don't you always hear that when we say we're for school choice, school vouchers, charter schools, homeschooling? We object to a state religion, then we have no religion at all. That's not the case. We believe in a Judeo-Christian faith heritage, and our first liberty is freedom of religion. We object to an equality which is brought about by the state, then we're against equality, et cetera, et cetera. Isn't it amazing how you always hear people say you're a mean, nasty old conservative if you think that people should be able to go out and work hard and the government should provide them the policies where they have the opportunities to excel, as opposed to a government mandating, intimidating, and coercing people into their own outcomes. See, constitutional conservatism is all about individualism. And I think young people should get that, the selfie thing, instead of this collectivism of socialism. You might as well accuse us of wishing men not to eat because we object to the cultivation of corn by the state. Great book, The Law, Frederic Bastiat, French economist, written in the 1850s. See, I think it's so important that before our students go back to these college campuses and universities where they're not going to be reading about The Road to Serfdom by Frederic Hayek, or The Law by Frederic Bastiat, or even this, Trickle-Down Theory and Taxing the Rich by the great economist Thomas Sowell. I don't think you're going to have a lot of these essays and pamphlets being taught on these college campuses. I don't think someone like a Paul Krugman has ever even opened one of these books. But it's our opportunity in this summertime period to have these discussions with our young people in our homes as they're back for summer vacation, or at our businesses where they're doing internships. Because we've got to get young people to understand that socialism has nothing to do with social media. It has everything to do with the depravity of mankind. It has everything to do with some 100 million people have lost their lives because of socialism. It has everything to do with what you see happening down in Venezuela right now. So why would our young people say that they think socialism is more acceptable than capitalism? It's because we, as the adults, we have not done a good job of explaining it to them. And then we allow them to go on to high schools and to colleges and universities, where it's the full-time job of some of these professors to pervert their minds and make them believe that something that is the antithesis to who we are in this constitutional republic should be acceptable to them. So here's your homework, adults. Pick up The Road to Serfdom by Frederic Hayek. Pick up Trickle-Down Theory and Tax the Rich by Thomas Sowell. Pick up The Law by Frederic Bastiat. Educate yourselves first and foremost, and then educate the millennial generation, because we have to pass on a better America to them. And if they believe that socialism is a better way forward for the United States of America, then the United States of America may not be around for another 50, 60, definitely maybe not another 243 years.